All right. So good afternoon.
Mm,
So let me, I guess, just start off with how was your week been? How was last week since our last session?
good. It's
Good.
good.
Good. Any issues that from before?
No, not room for.
No. Okay. So over the past couple of weeks, we've been talking about kind of the your anger a little bit, right? How's that going?
It's going really good. I haven't really been angry anymore
Good.
as much. If I do get angry, it's
Uh,
um like it's just normal stuff.
okay.
So
But that whole situation in like what it was, journalism, it's kind of worked itself out.
yes, sir.
Good, good. Okay, so what about? I think last week we talked about the family or the relative
Mm-hmm.
that gives you some issues sometimes. Um, but you haven't been home since then, so you haven't had to. You're just kind of preparing yourself for that, if you will, when you're going home. Okay, or going back to your grandparents' house. Okay, all right. Well, tell me how your week's been.
Um. Well, this week hasn't been like the best week because of something that happened at school with a kid. And everybody's been kind of upset about it. Which is understandable. It's really hard when someone you know does something like that, and it's been hard on a lot of people. It's been very weird, and like without seeing him there, and it's kind of trying to get through it.
Okay, and you can say what it is. It's okay. I mean, it's okay if you feel, um, it's
Yeah,
perfectly fine to say what it is that you're going through, what happened.
well, one of the kids I knew from school had committed suicide, and um nobody really saw it coming, and a lot of people thought he was doing okay, he was doing better. It was mostly his close friends that knew there were some problems,
Okay,
but um they didn't see it coming either. And so when it did happen, it was a real shock to a lot of people, to
okay,
everybody. And it that week has just been trying to deal with that, and people have been going around with posters for signing it, and yeah. So we that's why this week has been not the best week because people are still trying to recover from it.
okay. Now you said no one saw it coming, but you also said that people said that he was doing better. What do you mean by
He
he
had
was doing?
had
So what was going on, or do you know what was going on in his?
I don't really know what was going on. I do know he did have some family
Okay,
problems, and he did have some other like mental, I guess, issues.
okay,
And people were like, "Oh, he's doing so much better. He's a lot happier now.
gotcha. Okay,
His family issues have gotten quite a bit better. He's been doing really good and stuff like that."
okay,
And so, yeah,
okay. Do you know if he lived with mom and dad, mom, dad, grandparents,
I
or
I don't know.
okay,
Me and him weren't that close. We just like knew each other
okay,
from around school.
okay. And this is a kid that you just met this year, or
No, I knew him last year. We had a class together last year, and then we had a class together this year
okay.
too.
So you
So,
just knew him. You
hmm
wasn't real close or anything. You just knew him, knew his name and stuff like that.
yeah.
Okay. Well, it's it's difficult. It's sad to think that kids your age are even thinking that that's an option um, for them to take. Um, you know, and it really is sad to think about that, but it's things that happen. This is actually the uh, second suicide at your high school in the last year. right?
Mhm.
And the first one was a senior in high school,
Yes,
right?
I think so.
Yeah,
And it was actually somebody I know. It was his brother,
right,
and I do know that was really hard on the school because everybody knew who that was.
right, right,
Not a lot of people really knew who this other kid was, and um, like the school wasn't really acknowledging the fact that it happened,
right.
um, which in a lot of minds isn't really fair. And I mean, it's not like a fair, not fair thing, but like they don't understand why the school hasn't done something like
Okay,
called an assembly about suicide prevention or something like
okay,
that.
yeah,
So a lot of students have taken it upon themselves to get the jumbo no cards
hmm
and write stop bullying and stuff like that, which I understand that, but some of those note cards are kind of much, a little too soon.
okay,
Some of them says your words hurt, they can even kill,
okay,
and stop bullying, it kills. And like I get the stop bullying, be kind.
right.
You don't know what people are going through, but your words like they hurt. Yeah, I get that, but with the it kills or stop bullying, it kills. Your words hurt. Sometimes even kills. That's a little much. Way too soon. It
Yeah,
hasn't even. It's literally only been a week
right.
since it's all happened.
Okay. So let me ask you this: did this kid get bullied that you know of, or was it
Um, I think he did. It wasn't really bad. If he did, not a lot of people knew about it. I know
okay?
he played around with some other people, like just like making fun stuff
Right.
about each other, like making like a lot of friends do it at my high school. I don't
Just
understand
cut
it.
up with each other.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't know if he was bullied,
Okay.
but I don't think he was that I know of,
Right.
because he had a pretty good group of friends that would stick up. That group
Okay.
of friends would stick up for each other.
Well, okay.
So.
All right. So there could be some other lying things there with family issues and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Okay. Well, yeah. I don't. I'm not affiliated with the school, so I don't know um, what their thought process is as far as not, um, acknowledging what happened. Um,
Cause like I remember it happened on a Sunday, and that Monday, we went to school, and like we were expecting, because a lot of students had heard that they were gonna call an assembly,
right.
and like had heard they were gonna call in like different counselors, different types of counselors and
Right.
stuff, but it never happened, and like literally that Monday was so quiet. Like this entire school was so quiet. Like, it felt like the building itself was holding its breath
Yeah.
to see what was gonna happen next.
Right.
It was crazy. It just felt so weird.
Right. Now, and you said a couple of other people took it upon themselves to do posters and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, and that's, unfortunately, in a circumstance like this, a lot of people do this after the fact. You know, what if we did this throughout the year so that people were aware of the people that are out there that want to talk or that want to listen. When I was in the military, I was a medic, and part of my job was listening to other people's problems and just being there as a listener, not even saying anything really, just a listener, and just being able to for them to talk, and just me just sit there and listen. And sometimes, you may not know all the people in your class, but if you put yourself out there as a good listener, someone, hey, whatever you're going through, I'll sit down and talk with you. I'll sit down and just listen with you if you just want to talk about it. I won't even have to say a word. Sometimes they need that encouragement and you know affirmation to know that there's someone there that will just listen to them, and that may be what they need. They may not be able to. You said this kid possibly had a rough home life. And there may not be someone there at the house that will just listen to them. you know, and unfortunately, he took his life. And how old was he?
I think he was
15.
15, 14, 15.
Yeah. And so, unfortunately, it's it's a it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem, and that's the sad part. Is if there was someone or anybody that would just have possibly reached out to him and said, "Hey, man, I don't know what you're going through, but I see you're going through some stuff. I'm here if you need to talk." And that's kind of where you need to, not necessarily you, but you know give yourself some of that for other people. Allow other people to realize that you are there, and um, be that ear for somebody. As far as the grieving process goes, um, you know, everybody grieves differently. Some people hold it in and just go about it as it never happened, and some people let it all out right out the front and get it over with, and it's over and done with, and then they go about it. And then some people just kind of hold it in for days and for weeks and sometimes months and sometimes years, and it just builds up and builds up until a certain thing happens and it just kind of all falls apart. So I would encourage you to find, if you've grieved already, then good. If not, and you're still trying to figure out, everything that's going on, then take a moment to just reflect. Just reflect over the last week, and what you've learned and what you've seen and what you heard, and grieve in your own time. Don't let anybody tell you, well, you got to grieve and be done with it and just get it over with. Because that's not really a good thought process when it comes to grieving, because people grieve differently. So grieve in your own time. But um, it's sad to think, like I was saying earlier, it's sad to think that kids your age have that thought process in their brain to think that that's okay. And you know, as teenagers, you guys need to know that there's people out there that are there for you, that care for you deeply, and that whether it's a family or even a family member, and even if it's not a family member, whether it's someone that's close to you, a friend, you know, a brother, a sister, a cousin, a best friend, a not so best friend, a teammate, a schoolmate, a classmate, somebody, sometimes these these kids have these cries for help, and they may do or say something just to see what the response from their group of friends are. And like you said, you knew them, but you wasn't close with them. You had a class with them and things like that. But I wonder what, if any, semblance there was to um, precursor this. If there was anything before that maybe somebody had missed, or if it was just something that happened. I'll be praying for his family and this loss, because that's devastating. That's devastating as a parent to think that you know my kid is no longer with me. But you know it's real, and it's a real thing.
Yes.
Suicide is, and so depression is as well. It kind of goes almost hand in hand. Sometimes people fall into a state of depression and they really can't dig themselves out of it. So I would encourage you, though. I know you only got a couple more weeks left of school before the Christmas break, but I would encourage you um, you know, to reach out to your friends and let them know that, hey, I'm here. I'm here if you need to talk. I won't. I'll stand in front of you or sit in front of you and let you talk, and I won't say a word. Just know that I'm here to listen. And so I would encourage you to do that and just be be the ear for someone. You know, um, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Um, Not really. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, and like with the suicide thing, um, I get people are running around with posters, but there are like some posters that are going around like um they're gonna they've gotten people to sign them, and I've signed one. I signed one because um they were like, "We're gonna miss you. I hope that like I think that they were doing those for the families. I hope they did, or like they put them up somewhere where it can show that this is a real thing and
Right.
it doesn't need to be taken lightly." But some of the one of the things I heard was one of the posters that they had made, someone actually tore it up, and threw it in the trash. And when I heard about that, it made me mad, but it also really upset me because that was disrespectful on so many levels. And that person who did it, um, I heard that they were posting all over their story, like you were such a wonderful friend, you were so close to me, you meant so much to me, and all this other stuff. But that person also turned around, tore down the poster, tore it up, and threw it on the ground.
Right.
And I get you can grieve. Like one of my friends that I was signing one of the posters with, he was gonna sign it, but he couldn't because it really just he got up and walked off because he couldn't handle it.
Right.
But like, and some of the other posters are pretty graphic. I mean, not like graphic, but
Yeah.
are a little too straightforward, way too soon.
Right.
And one of the girls I was talking to about it, she was like, "Yeah, me and like a few other girls took down some because they were way too like well, not graphic, too
Yeah.
straight, like way too straightforward,
Yeah.
and it's way too soon, and it hadn't even been a whole week since it
Right.
happened."
Right.
I get taking action, but when it's that soon with that type of wording, it can upset people more.
Right. You know, it's when something like this happens, especially if the people that knew this kid.
And it wasn't some of the people who were doing it. Most of them wasn't Chase's group of friends.
Right.
They were just walking around like, "Oh wow, this is great." Like one of the girls that was doing a poster was one of the big posters was one of his friends.
Right.
But some of the other ones just like are just, I guess I don't know why they're doing it because they didn't really know him.
Okay. Sometimes,
So,
you know, we can rush into things and not really think about what we're doing sometimes. And it sounds to me like some of the posters were kind of a rushed thought. Um, Good idea for the posters to get it out there, but sometimes, like you said, you know,
it's too soon and the wording's too strong.
yeah. And so that's people want to help, people want to try to show their support, and show their love and kindness and things like that, and um, get the issue, some limelight, if you will, and they want to, put it, kind of say, hey, look, this is bullying, and or whatever, it needs to stop. But there's ways to do that. Yes, could it have possibly been a result of it? Yes. However, when something like this just happens, you want to think, and you want to give the best, put your best foot forward, if you will. You don't want to rush into something and then all of a sudden it's a big
And like
slap
some
in
of
the
the
face or
people,
anything like that.
or like it wasn't even. Some of them was like didn't understand why it said bullying because they said that Chase wasn't really bullied.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like the suicide that happened before was bullying because
Right.
of the way he was and stuff like that. But yeah, that was bullying. but not necessarily the one that just happened.
Right.
Like a lot of people were like, it's not a result of bullying.
Right.
Like it could be at home, but it wasn't at school. And like a lot of people were like, they didn't understand why I said stop bullying, and bullying, your words hurt, sometimes kill. Bullying kills or something like, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's way too strong words,
Yeah.
way too soon. That's already pretty strong words when something, even if something like that didn't happen, that's really strong and a little too straightforward. Like, yes, that can be true, but there are better words you can use than just it kills.
Right.
That's like something you put on like a cigarette commercial and stuff like that, but you shouldn't put that on a poster or a little giant note card in the halls of school when already this year we've had 2 suicides plus a shooting threat, which is really hard on a school.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give you some goals this week to kind of set forth for you to be an encouragement to others and to see about possibly being a listening ear. Okay, so these things that have happened are they directly affect you in the instance that he was a classmate and things like that, and he wasn't a close friend or anything
He
like
sat
that.
literally 2 seats and over beside me.
Yeah, and so in the fact that you knew him and things, and so you had a class with him, and so there's probably kids in your class that probably knew him better than you, and so
one of his good friends was in that class as well.
Yeah, and so I want to kind of encourage you and give you a goal to be an encouragement for those people. Okay, to try to be an encouragement for those people and even a listening ear for those individuals. So this week I want to set that goal for you to try to accomplish that. Uh, and like I said before, with the grieving, everybody grieves differently. And if they tell you and you offer it, hey, if you want to sit and talk, I'll talk with you, whatever it is. And they say, no, I don't want to talk about it. I want to be alone. Just let me deal with it. Then don't push it. Don't push yourself onto them because sometimes that could be too much. So just let them know, hey, all right, cool, that's no problem. But I want you to know that I'm here. And if you want to talk, here's my number or whatever, or we can sit and talk at lunch, we can sit and talk after class or whatever it is, but I'm here if you need to talk. So even if you just offer that to them, maybe 2 days from now, they'll come up and say, hey, you know what, can you have a minute? Can you talk? And you can kind of just let them talk and just kind of give them that encouraging word, okay? So this week I'm going to give you that goal to try to meet. Is there anything else you want to talk about today?
Yes.
All right, well, good. All right. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.